you grossed out yet? Welcome back. Today we are going to dive into something that'll make your stomach churn. You'll become aware of your breathing and begin to feel every breeze on the back of your neck. Today, we are going to talk about a subgenre of horror, body horror. As you witnessed in the intro, body horror consists of elements of gore, body swapping, and extreme dysmorphia. Some movies will answer your burning questions, such as, what would happen if we put a human in an animal's body? What if my hair gained consciousness and sought revenge? What does it feel like losing my identity if I switch consciousness repeatedly? Recently, a new film titled The Substance has gained quite a bit of attention. If The Substance is your first experience in the world of body horror, then allow this video to be your guide into the world of the absurd and disturbed. If you have not seen The Substance, then allow me to explain. Directed by Coralie Farja, The Substance follows early adult star Elizabeth, played by the beautiful Demi Moore, showing her successful lifestyle and happiness as she had all the time and beauty available to her in her youth. Elizabeth is a fitness instructor who performs provocative dance moves on a weekly television broadcast. The film elegantly portrays Elizabeth as a sex symbol, but as time goes on, she finds that her body is not what it used to be. One day, she leaves her lavish LA apartment to film another weekly episode of her choreography, only to come to a great surprise. Her boss, Harvey, played by Dennis Quaid, asks her to meet him for lunch and an important announcement. He insouciantly explains to Elizabeth that her show is getting canceled and she must pack her things. Harvey explains all of this while chowing down on some buttery boiled jumbo shrimp. Elizabeth is livid and in a fit of rage leaves the studio to get back to her apartment. On her way to her apartment, she runs into an old high school friend who explains his interest in catching up with a date together. She takes his number, but as soon as she gets home, she tosses his number thinking someone as highly as her could never get with an aging, less successful man. After days of wallowing in her self-pity, she visits a doctor's office, where a particularly young assistant makes awkward eye contact with Elizabeth. When Elizabeth gets back from her visit, she finds a card in her coat pocket. She gives the number a ring and is told she will receive some medication in the mail soon, with exact instructions that must not be ignored. When Elizabeth eagerly opens her package, she finds an activator and liquid food. She reads the instructions and follows them to perfection. Right before Elizabeth thinks that it was all some sort of scam, we begin to see her body morphing into something that seems truly disgusting. The end result is a body double birthed from the spine of Elizabeth, a younger Elizabeth, played by the lovely Margaret Qualley. I highly suggest you watch The Substance if you have not already. The brief summary is only a fraction of everything that takes place in the film, and trust me when I say this, your stomach will feel quite uneasy after the final act. I sometimes wonder what it is about something so grotesque that we can't stop but look at. It's like we ignore the parts in our brain that tells us to look away, and then we find it hard to stomach what we see. On a more scientific note, the emotion of disgust is a natural instinct to ward off any possible danger or injury. As our technology advances, we begin recording and imitating the same things our natural mind would like to avoid. This evolution spurred into a mild masochism, since we now understand that we cannot be harmed, so we have the safety to continue to watch, smell, taste the disgusting content. I want to bring us back, not just to the topic of the video, but back to my personal first experience with body horror. When I was a young boy, I remember my parents renting a particular movie. We sat together in their bedroom, and the movie started with two men chained into an abandoned warehouse bathroom. If that sounds familiar, then you have probably also watched James Wan's Saw. My first experience with body horror was watching Saw and being asked, is your life really worth sacrificing a part of yourself? Jigsaw made intricate mechanisms, like the reverse bear trap that let your mind wonder what would happen to a human head if that machine was triggered. I remember a deep, dark feeling down in the pit of my stomach, giving me this feeling of, what did I just watch? The stir of curiosity in me caused my longing for finding newer movies to top the last. I began watching other films that touched on similar themes, and eventually delved into the world of foreign body horror. I discovered films such as Tetsuo, the Iron Man, Raw, and XT, Hair Extensions. Foreign body horror takes things in a different direction than North American cinema. where the darker story-driven scenes spotted with visuals of body horror normally exist. Japanese directors tend to use less intense cinematics with borderline comical special effects. Take this scene from Exte, Hair Extensions. In the scene, Kondo, played by Yuna Natsuo, has become possessed by the sentient hair villain of the movie. While the thought of hair moving through your body and under your skin might make you feel uneasy, it's hard not to give a slight chuckle to the portrayal of the action. I personally love this movie, and I think anyone who is interested in body horror should give it a watch. Japanese horror, or J-horror for short, has its own aesthetic, which I find quite interesting. But if we come back to North America, we will find that body horror has a much more serious tone. Some examples include Tusk, The Human Centipede, and my personal favorite, Possessor. Directed by Brandon Cronenberg, Possessor is a dystopian take on body horror. Tassia Voss, played by Andrea Riseborough, is a conscious-switching hitwoman. The company she works for uses her skills to gain monetary value, but one day, Voss is tasked with downloading her consciousness into Colin Tate, played by Christopher Abbott, who she soon learns does not give in easily to the control of his body. Colin fights with Voss when it comes time to do her job in assassinating Colin's father-in-law and boss, John Parse, played by Sean Bean. The visuals showing their battles within Colin's minds are work of art in their own, and it really makes you wonder how two consciousnesses in one body would really feel. While I enjoy watching horror films of all subgenres, I do sometimes look for horror in illustration books. The common and most popular of those illustrators are none other than the legend himself, Junji Ito. When I first discovered his story, Long Dream, it really gave me a sense of fear. What if you physically age the time you spent in your dreams? Sometimes, the dreams we have feel like they go on for days, weeks, and years. There are stories of people who can live a lifetime in their dreams, only to wake up and abruptly discover that their happiness was only a temporary illusion. Junji Ito's Long Dream takes this feeling a step further, illustrating what a human body would look like if it continued to age rapidly every nightly session. The guy is a master at making your skin crawl with every line and dot of every page. Another illustrator I recently discovered is Shintaro Kago. He does not make story-based readings, but more series of art and illustration curated into volumes. While his artwork has a more lively and vivid look, the drawings are absolutely stunning. Imagine what a person would look like if their body parts simply expanded and materialized all around them, or if a human was being controlled by a little cat living inside their brain. Now take a look at the artwork. Is it exactly what you were thinking? Now that we have had a chance to break down and discuss what body horror is exactly, what are your opinions on the genre? What are some of your favorite examples in horror media? Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.